أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to start section 1 of this book, the keys to life, Mafaateeh ul-Hayaat. So what did we say out of all the different relationships and interactions that we have, what is the most important one? Yes. With Allah? That technically, yes. But in order for me to have a good relationship with Allah, I have to start somewhere else first. Yeah. Before I have a relationship with Prophet Muhammad, there's another relationship that's even more important. Yeah. Yourself. Very good. Right? Because if I don't deal with myself properly, then I won't be able to have a proper relationship with anybody. Not Allah, not the Prophet, not the Qur'an, not animals, not neighbors, nobody. Right? So we have to start with ourselves, and that's why the first chapter is about how we deal with ourselves. Now, let's say you want to start doing something, anything, right? Reading Quran, eating, watching something, playing. What is the most important thing to do before you start any action? Yeah. Say Bismillah. Say Bismillah. Yeah. Anybody think anything different? You think that that's what's mentioned in by the Ahlul Bayt? There's a reason I'm saying it's a loaded question. So Bismillah, yeah, it's important. We're told to do that. But there's actually something else that's even more important than that, even before reciting Bismillah. Yeah. Think of how Allah gave us the ability to do something like that. Very good. You got the right answer. So now, let me share with you how it was phrased by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So, there's two different narrations. I'll start with one of them, where he was speaking to a companion named Ibn Mas'ud. So, Ibn Mas'ud, when he was talking to him, he gave him very simple advice. He said, whenever you decide to do something, make sure before you do it, you start with ilm and aql. Start with knowledge and aql. Aql, sometimes people think it means like brain or intelligence. It means basically just thinking about what you're doing, right? Stay away from doing anything unless you perform tadabbur first. Now, tadabbur, right now, we're just going to translate it as thinking, reflecting, contemplating, pondering, any of those words, right? Now, why is that important? So Rasulullah mentioned a ayah of the Quran, or a part of an ayah, in Surah An-Nahl, Surah 16, ayah 92. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّتِي نَقَضَتْ غَزْلَهَا مِنْ بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ أَنْكَاثًا. Don't be like those who have spun and tied some yarn and pieces of string together after they made it tight, and then they let it get loose and fall apart. Now, what does this have to do with thinking about something or not thinking about something? So let's say, anybody here sew, knit, anything like that? Ever tied a knot? You don't have to sew or knit, yeah. So if you tie a knot, but let's say as you're pulling it, you don't pull it all the way. You pull it a little bit, so it's there, but what happens after a while? If you've ever tied your shoelaces and you don't tie it tight, what's going to happen? It's going to get loose, and if it gets loose, then what happens? You're walking, you're going to fall down, and if people around you are not very nice, they're going to see you falling down and they're going to laugh, unfortunately. Yes. So we don't want to regret, right, be in a state like that. So if we do stuff, anything, but we're not thinking about it beforehand, about why am I doing this? How did Allah allow me to do this? What's going to be the result if I do this? If we go and engage in any action, there's a good chance we might regret that and everything will just fall apart. Another hadith, somebody came to Rasulullah and asked him for advice. He said, Ya Rasulullah, give me some advice. He said, okay, but before I do, are you actually going to follow the advice that I give? The person says, yes, of course. I'm asking you, of course I'll listen. Rasulullah said again, are you sure that you are going to follow the advice I give? He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, of course. One more time, 3 times total, he said, are you going to follow this advice or not? He said, yes, of course, Ya Rasulullah, I'm going to follow. Why do you think Rasulullah kept repeating himself and made him repeat it? What do you think? To follow what he says. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Yes, very good. So it's very, very similar to an advice that Uncle Ben gave Peter Parker. Very, very similar. Yes, Peter Parker is the real identity of Spider-Man. Yes, obviously. Yes, Peter Parker. That's what I said. He's not in Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man. Yes, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. You can say it both ways. Yes. Huh? I think I just spoiled the whole premise of Spider-Man for you. Yes, that's true. Okay, now, what did Uncle Ben tell Peter Parker? With great power comes great responsibility. So, with great power, so when you have a lot of power, it comes with responsibility, right? So, there's another saying that I'm sure you've heard before: knowledge is power. So, that also means with great knowledge comes great responsibility too. So, what is Rasulullah telling this person who's asking him for advice, and then also all of us? That if I'm going to tell you something, if you're going to learn something, guess what? There's a taklif that goes along with it. Now you're mukallaf. Now you have duties. If I tell you something and you don't act upon it, then it's going to harm you. But if I'm telling you and you act upon it, then you can only get stronger and stronger and more powerful. So, what does he tell him? This important advice. He said, whenever you decide to do something, make sure you're doing tadabbur, which means thinking of the consequences of your actions first. Think about it all the way and see if it helps you grow, then do it. But if it's going to harm you, then keep away. And you might say that, that sounds kind of obvious, right? I can perform tadabbur, I can reflect, I can think. I know that if I put my hand on fire, it'll burn me, right? That's obvious. So, okay, that's an example, right? But real tadabbur is thinking really, really, really far ahead. So yes, I know that if I put my hand on fire, it'll hurt me. But then what happens after that, right? If I get hurt, then I might get scars. Some of us know very intimately that, yeah, if you get burnt, you get scars. If you get scarred and you get burnt, then you probably have to call 911. Then you have to go to doctors. You have to put on special cream. You have to get special medicine, and it hurts for a long time. And sometimes you have to wear special wraps around your arm. Sometimes you have to take medicine. Then there are certain things you can't do. Are you going to raise your hand and tell me what about my burns? Why? Never, yes. Somebody who was a pre-med student, not a very good one apparently, told me to put my hands in ice while it was after it got burnt, which is one thing you should never, ever, ever, ever do. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you advice, but I learned afterwards it's a terrible thing to do. It actually messes with your nerve endings. You don't want to do that. Yes. Is this related to fire stuff too? Yes, it's going to be expensive. This is good tadabbur as well too, right? Don't do things that are going to cost you a lot down the line, because you know what? This country has really, really expensive healthcare, and it's definitely not worth it. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, a few more points and then we'll leave the rest for next week. So, this idea of thinking, reflecting, contemplating is so important. In some riwayat and narrations by the Ahlul Bayt, they have described it as the best kind of ibadah you can do. So, I'll explain two different ones. One from Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says the best type of ibadah, the best worship you can do is what? Constantly thinking about Allah, what He does, and His ability and power to do it. And sometimes, instead of saying it's the best thing, they say, some of the imams have said that if you don't think about what you're going to do, even other types of ibadah that you might want to do, other types of worship, is actually not going to be beneficial for you. So Imam Ali has also said, there's no khair, there's no goodness in any ibadah unless you think about it beforehand. Then he mentioned specifics. You and I might think, okay, reading Qur'an is always a good thing, right? It doesn't matter, just pick it up and read it, recite it, it's good. Imam Ali says there's no khair in qira'ah, reciting Qur'an, unless you're doing tadabbur and you're actually thinking about the things that Allah's telling us. Now, yeah, it might be okay, it might make us feel good, it might sound nice, but to really get benefit from the Qur'an, or du'as or ziyarat, it's one of the reasons why we're reading the English, right? Is to make sure we understand what we're doing. But there's another hadith, this one's from the 8th Imam, Imam Rida alayhi salam, who says, ibadah, worship, is not lots of praying and lots of fasting. The only thing we should be thinking about is reflecting and performing tafakkur in the various issues and affairs of Allah. Now, I think, what else can we do? There's a few more, but I think I'll save these. There's like 3 or 4 more left, but we'll save them for next week, inshallah. So what we have to remember for ourselves is before we start anything at all, even before I say Bismillah, which we're supposed to do before we do anything, even before I say Bismillah, I should be thinking about, why am I saying Bismillah? And this thing that I'm about to do, is it actually going to be good for me or not? Is it going to help me? Because if I say Bismillah before something bad, that Bismillah has no benefit anymore, right? Since we're talking about fire, if I decide Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and put my hand in fire, it's not like the fire, I'm not like a prophet. The fire's not going to get cool, right? Okay, no more questions. We're way over time now, and I'm hungry at least, so we're going to stop over here. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.